Hello and welcome back to Let It Go with Anna. And as you can see, the subject title today is about the ego in you. Now, in this video, I'm going to be giving out some big gems, some big Anna's analogies, and I want you to be paying attention, no distraction, and fully ready to comprehend the ego in you. Now, this may not apply. Maybe you have been through this already, but I think it will apply for those who are still not identifying that their biggest enemy, so to speak, is the ego. So this is my interpretation of how you can understand it better. So imagine you've got a friend, a family, a work colleague, a partner, and every time you bring your ideas about moving forward in your life with a new project, something new you want to try, could be even just getting a haircut, it could be something to do with your ambitions, taking the next step forward, anything to do with positive growth or leaving behind what you know to start something new, a new adventure, yeah? That friend, family, work colleague, spouse says, oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think that's a good idea. Oh, is that for you, Anna? No, I think you should stick to what you're doing. You're really good at what you're doing. And then you're just like, well, okay, you know me pretty well. And I value your opinions on me. So I'm going to stay in that place. I'm going to stay in that safe place. I'm going to listen because you have, for example, 10 friends that are telling you that. And then you've got 3 friends, colleagues, acquaintances, spouses, whatever. 3 of them telling you, go for it. I think that would actually be quite good. And the skills you've learned doing what you've been doing for the last 5-10 years, you can adopt them in this new way. Yeah, go for it. But again, as usual, the majority rules. So you think, oh, you know what? There's only 3 people saying go for it and there's 10 saying don't. So more than likely, you are going to listen to the 10 voices, all right? Now, you want to go in a new direction. You've had enough of where you're at. Nothing new's happening for you. There's no changes. It could even be a thing where you feel lonely or you just want to break free from the norm because you are coming into a new age or a new era in your life where you just want to try something different, but you're not courageous or feeling courageous about taking that next step. So what do? Do you continue to listen to the 10 voices or do you follow the 3? What would you do? I want you to scream out to me. What would you do if you want to try something different or new and what you're getting back, the feedback is don't? How many of us have listened to that feedback and stayed in that position for another 5 more years, for example? How many? Raise your hand. Because you're not feeling confident. Because you're now feeling fearful. You don't want to rock the boat. You're so comfortable with that monthly paycheck or weekly paycheck that I'll just stay here. I know where I'm at. I know how it's going to work. I'll get paid. I'll pay the bills. Whatever's left, that's for me. I'll do this. I'll do that. I've been doing that all along. Why fix what's not broken? Yeah? Okay. So all of those things eventually have held you back. And now you're in a point where enough is enough. So what you do is you get rid of those voices. The 10 voices, you get rid of them. Don't worry that you've known these friends, colleagues for however long. Don't worry about that. Looking back at how many years you've known them to how many years you have left ahead of you for your future to do something new, balance that out for a minute. Weigh that up. That was the past. This is the future. Look at it like that. And you've got so many future years ahead of you to thrive and become something new. So thinking about a person like that or people like that in your life, it's now time to get brave. There's no wonder super magical list of all the things you have to do to get brave. It's just get brave. Let's just keep it simple. Get brave. Get them out your life. Now, when I say get them out your life, you don't have to stop talking to them, stop being around them, but they're just not your counselors anymore. They're not your life associates or dictators anymore. So whatever they're good for, other than their opinions, you just deal with them and associate with them in those areas. But when it comes to making your life choices and decisions, they are no longer the allies that you go to. Because if it's up to them, you'll stay where you are. It's a harsh reality, but sometimes those people don't want to see you grow. They don't want to see you further yourself, get ahead, be better than them, be successful. They don't want to see that. And they probably know all the skills and all the greatness within you, but they don't want to turn that switch on for you because they're comfortable with you being exactly where you are. And that is just like your ego. The only difference is your friends are external. Your ego is internal. Your ego lives with you. Your ego's with you every day. And that little voice in your head, when you want to try something new or branch out or go in a different direction, your ego starts speaking to you. No, don't do that. Don't stay exactly where you are. You're safe here because it's built you a cage of a comfort zone. Your ego is designed to keep you safe and familiar with everything you know. With all the conditionings and the limits that you have built up along your life. You've been conditioned from the very first day that you blew breath. When to go to sleep, when to eat, when to this, when to that. And there's nothing wrong with it. Your parents and caregivers were just taking care of you. But then the conditioning grows. You go to nursery, to school. I don't know what you call these stages in other countries, but just bear with it. You go to secondary school. You go to college, you go to university, you meet all types of different people. And they've got their views and their conditionings that they now bring into conversations with you. It's called building friendships. So you hear somebody else's opinions, thoughts or beliefs on something, and then if it sounds good to you, you might adopt that. Now that starts to live within you. That's how conditioning works. Oh, I make sure I go to bed at 8 o'clock every day so I can get a really good night's sleep. But just because somebody goes to bed at 12 midnight doesn't mean that you don't get a good night's sleep. So you might start following that conditioning. Conditionings are of all kinds. I'm not going to go into too many of how you can be conditioned, but I'm sure you get the point. So with all of that, that now creates an ego, an identity of who you think you are. It's what you've built. It's not who you really are from your core inside. It's not who you came into this world to be. It's the conditioned you, that's the ego. So if you were conditioned to get a job, to earn money, go to university, don't worry about the student loans and the debts and the blah, then that's the road you're going to follow, because that's what you think is the right road. That's what you think is the right way to do it. And then you get confirmation because you look around in this world and other people are doing that. And if you go to university and you study for half of your life, then you're doing the right thing. Well, so you believe. But then a day comes when you're not happy doing that. That might not be your dream. That might be your parents' dream or somebody else's dream, your partner's dream, but it's not your dream. You might want to be a dancer and there's not a lot to study there. Rhythm might come naturally to you. So you don't have to study so hard because you're naturally talented in that area. So you have to now learn to shut out the 10 noises, shut out the ego. You can't get rid of your ego, it's with you. But what you can do is you can work against it. So when you have a new idea, a direction, an ambition that you want to follow through, be brave and go for it. Shut out that voice in your head. Close the door on it. Tell that ego, you're coming along for the ride. I can't get rid of you, but you're stopping me. You want to keep me here. That's what you're designed to do. I recognize that, but it's not enough for me. So we're doing this and you're coming. And that's it. You move forward in your own alignment, in your own thoughts. Become your own counsel. If you want to seek counsel from somebody else that's doing your dream job or having your dream life. Read some books if you can't attain that person to speak to. Because there is no one successful that's going to tell you that they didn't make mistakes. They didn't fight with this voice in their head. You know the voice in your head, and I know the voice in my head. We have experienced it, and it's held us back for a very long time. And there's only one way to get rid of it. Is to get brave and do what you want to do, and don't care. Don't care what people think. It's none of your business. Their opinions of you are none of your business. Like the comments on YouTubes and TikToks, that's got nothing to do with you. As long as you know that you are trying to add value and give value to the world and help people, not everyone's going to like you, and that's fine. It's okay. And not everybody's going to like you and support what you're saying and give good comments. You have to learn to take the rough with the smooth. Grow a thick skin. That's how you conquer your ego. Courage equates to feeling the fear but doing it anyway. That's what courage is. Courage isn't like Aries that just goes in head first without doing the research and finding out methods and different ways and just rush in. They've got a saying called fools rush in. That's not courage. Courage is, you know the consequences. You know what you might be giving up. You know what you might have to lose. But you're going to do it anyway. The fear is bubbling inside of you. But guess what? If I don't conquer and break through this, I'm not going to know. What would you rather be? Wanting to do it, but not taking the chance, or doing it and failing and realizing from your mistakes where you went wrong and finding a different way and then becoming successful? Which one do you prefer? So I don't want you to let your ego spoil your dreams and your hopes and your aspirations of what you could be doing in the future. Now, another part of your ego, and I'm going to use the example of vehicles. We could use money, clothes, fashion, whatever, but I'm going to use the example of a vehicle. And because it's something that I've been through as well, being totally vulnerable with you. Now, most of my life, I've driven high performance vehicles, and they made me feel good. Like, yep, because I was equating the vehicles to my self-worth, my house to my self-worth. You've got a good vehicle, you're good. You've got a nice house, you're good. That's not your worth value. How you live, where you live, what you drive, what you wear, how you look, doesn't equal to your value as a person, as a human being. A vehicle is just a vehicle. It takes you from A to B. Clothes are just clothes. You just wear them to keep covered and not go out naked and get yourself arrested. If you go out in an outfit and it's got this big logo across the front, and whenever you put that on, you feel like, yeah, I'm somebody. I'm sorry to break the news to you, but that is quite sad. Because you should feel like somebody even if you wear a plain white t-shirt. Logos don't define you, they don't make you. Vehicles don't define you, they don't make you. You just have a nice vehicle, or you have a standard vehicle, or you have a basic vehicle. You have labeled clothes, you have good quality clothes, and you have basic clothes. They're all designed to do a job. They're not there for the human collective. Because you've acquired this, now you are the best thing in life. I felt at some point, not that long ago, probably 3 years ago, that I was in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. I was stripped of most of my material gains that I'd worked hard for. I was stripped of them. Because my ego, when I stepped into my car, I mean, I wasn't one of these people that, beep, beep, get out of the way, I'll run you over. But it just gave me this extra false sense of power and, you know, not look at me, because I'm not somebody who acquires attention from the outside world, because I validate myself, but it just made me feel like a high achiever when that's not how I should feel. So then I ended up in a basic car, and all of this is God's doing. It's like God's trying to teach me, or has taught me, that these things don't make you, Anna. Don't identify yourself with material objects and items. They are not you. And in my basic car, I still get from A to B. Within my new self-worth, I still feel great. I still feel like somebody. I walk over to my car with pride because it's mine. It gets me from A to B. I'm not paying this extortionate money every month just to drive this vehicle because I can afford it, or because I just can, or because I want to look good. Because what you actually do is you alienate people from you, and good people that could help you to achieve more in your life. But you may come across superficial. You may come across so super materialistic that they don't even want to help you get any further, because You think you know it all. So just carry on. You're in that car and you're not looking at the passenger when you're at the stoplights and hi, or, you know, seeing somebody that you may know and might be, do you want a lift? Because it's raining and their shoes are wet and you don't want that wetness in your car. So you drive past them. You're now valuing the car or the item more than humanity. It's not a good look. And no matter how handsome or pretty you might look in your labels, clothes, and driving your car, deep down within, you're probably quite lonely, quite sad, because who's sitting next to you? Who's making plans with you? Where are you going in this vehicle? Places that you want to go. Doing what you want to do, which is fine. I'm not saying you have to stop and pick up the whole world and give them a ride home. Nope. But what I'm saying is the value levels of your items to humanity probably need checking. So when I go somewhere now, and I'm always very well dressed, I'm a Capricorn rising, I like business, so I'm always very formally well dressed. I go somewhere and I step out of my car. For people who don't have that mindset as me, they probably think, why is she driving a car like that? Or if they were to see me just, you know, walking somewhere, they'd probably think I'm walking to this big Range Rover. But I'm not. Because I make the car doesn't make me. These car manufacturer people, the reg, you know, up-to-date regs, it's all mindset, it's all psychological. Because you buy a car and the reg is in the current year, what happens when you've had that car for 3-4 years? You're going to start to feel like, oh, I'm not that good anymore. I need to like keep up with the Joneses. I need to have a car of the same reg or the higher reg. And then you become in a rat race. Keeping up, labels, pressure. Why are you doing that to yourself? When you learn to block out your ego, the friends, colleagues, families, and spouse that are telling you not to achieve and go higher, when you block that out and you start to live and believe and create your dream life, you can have cars that are the same reg as the year after year after year after year, if that's what you want, because you're successful enough to do it. You're helping humanity, the collective. God will reward you. He will say you deserve that. You put in a lot of hours. You help. You do a lot for people. And so your reward is, I'm giving you this so you can help yourself. Because hardworking people deserve to drive in comfort. They deserve to have good things around them to help to sustain them to keep doing those good works. No matter what your ambition is or your dream jobs are, you deserve to have comfort whilst you're doing it, because you've struggled. You've been there where you've helped and you've been on the bus and you've gone from the train to the walking to the blah, and you're just helping and you're furthering yourself in your education and you're doing the most to get yourself to your end goal. So once you get there, of course, there's going to be rewards for you. Because you stuck with the process. You've blocked out the noise. You've blocked out your ego. Sometimes we can be just okay when we're on our own, and then we get in with a group of our friends, acquaintances, and then the ego comes out of you more. You start acting different. You start playing up to the crowd that you're in. No. Means that you're flittering from yourself to people pleasing or what they expect of you. So when you make that shift of no longer being that person who morphs from this person to that person, so when you make that shift, you're going to have people who end up saying, hold on, Why is Anna all of a sudden not participating? And she's telling us, like, that's not for me anymore. That gossiping, that acting like a fool, that, boisterous behaviour or dramatic behaviour, I don't want anything to do with it. It's not me. Because you've grown. The people around you, maybe they haven't. Maybe they don't want to. But when you get your intuition and you're feeling that I've outgrown this stuff, it's okay. People will start to fall away from you. And don't be sad about it. That's a good thing. Because they're not for this second stage of your journey. If you can't be in any kind of relationship with a friend, spouse, blah, 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 and be yourself and say what you don't like and what you do like, and people have got a problem with it, let them leave. Because you're establishing your boundaries. They're starting to see that there's changes in you. You have now become the new you. And you can't keep that to yourself. You have to show other people. So what happens? You lose people along the way. But when the space of those people go, you get the space of new people, people who align with the new you, people who can help to take you forward. So dropping your ego, becoming your true self is the best thing you can do for yourself. Now, I won't lie to you, it can be scary because it's everything you've ever known. It's all what you are familiar with, but you can get familiar with new things. It's just like when you go on your banking app or any app and they've changed the layout. You have to get familiar with this new layout. Same as your life, same thing with you. There's changes all the time. Get comfortable with them. Be comfortable with the uncomfortable. I'm always saying that because if you can't do that, then you're going to be stuck. You're going to be kept stuck. It's very important to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. It shows the strength and the resilience in you that you're not holding on desperately to people in your life that don't serve you. You're not holding on desperately to that ego that keeps on telling you the same thing. Your ego will never tell you to go for it. If it's something like a get rich quick scheme, might pull you towards that because you're going to do that get rich quick scheme, get that outcome at the end, and let it, whether it be money or status, and then that's gonna add to your ego. Yes, I knew I could. Look at me. Da, da, da. So it will only draw you towards more egotistical things, but it won't draw you towards being the person, the human, the spiritual being you came here to be. It won't draw you towards that. It won't draw you to an unlimitless, abundant full life. It will keep you in your comfort zone cage. And it's all psychological because no one's got your hands and your feet in chains. It's all psychological. So when you do eventually break out of that, when you're like, way down into your 60s, for example, and you realize the cage you've kept yourself in, there's no one to be mad at. You might want to be mad at the 10 voices, but they didn't have a gun to your head and tell you not to do it. They just told you don't do it. So ultimately, you're going to be upset with yourself. This is where the mental health's creep in, the bitterness creeps in. You're now even more alone because all you do is complain. and you feel it's unfair, but you've done it to yourself. So I'm trying to stop you right now in your tracks, nip it in the bud. Stop doing it to yourself. Stop holding yourself in a psychological cage. Pensions, to me, is a psychological cage. Imagine you work hard all your life for this job, company, whatever, because you're getting a pension at the end. Do you know while you're working in that job for 10, 20, 30, however many years, you could actually open a second bank account and have set up a standing order and put money in there, and that could be your pension. If you're disciplined enough to leave it alone and just put 1/3 of your wages in there, that's your pension right there. Why are you waiting and working so hard for this company to give you this pension? You can create it yourself. Again, it's all psychological. Depends on your mindset, your belief systems, your conditionings. Are you ready to break free from that, or do you want to keep going with it? Do you want to be like your mom, your grandma, your granddad, your dad, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, and be in this mortgage for 30 years? Do you know it's possible that you can buy a house, pay off the house within 7 years, or buy it all at once? When you're living your true you and lifestyle and having your unlimited abundance and can just buy a house, 1, 2, 3, or 4 houses in different areas, countries, states. Do you know that that's possible? Because your ego won't tell you that. Your ego will tell you to keep working hard and just collect that monthly salary. Don't think outside the box. How dare you? Stay with what's familiar. This is comfortable. I'm here to keep you safe. Well, I tell the ego, you're coming along on my journey. I've been on yours and I don't like it. I've stayed in this place for so long and I don't like it. So I tell my ego, you're coming with me. I'm not coming with you anymore. And since I've done that, I've experienced so many great things in my life. I've met some wonderful people and they've had that experience and gone through it. I'm meeting people who are living the life I want to live, and they're helping me and showing me and teaching me how to get there, because they can see something in me that you're ready, you're doing the work, you're committed, you're serious about it, you want a change. So that is what has inspired me to share and tell you about the ego within you. The ego within you, drop it. Turn the volume down on the voice. Identify what it's doing to you, and you should definitely receive wonderful new experiences in your life. Now, that's all I have to say on the subject. I want you to think about it, digest it, re-watch this video if you have to, until you get it. But remember what I said in the beginning. What would you do if everything that you try, want to achieve, a new adventure, direction, a new experience, and that friend, family, colleague, spouse says, oh no. What are you going to do with them? What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with your ego that does that to you every single time you try to come away from what you know and go into something new? Think about that. So from me to you, have a good day and get rid of your ego. Bye.